since it's such a beautiful day today, I'll show you what it actually looks like at the dam via our webcam that we have installed over there. So you can see it's a pretty beautiful day up there. It wasn't like that the last 2 days. So if we just zoom in, I just want to zoom into one of the locations where we've installed some of our sensors. So here you can see we have a stainless steel enclosure that's housing all our the GNSS receiver as well as the piezometer data logger, and then that is just a Wi-Fi module, Wi-Fi antenna that sends it back to the cabinet where the webcam is actually sitting. You can see over there, that is the GPS antenna at the overflow, and some prisms as well. There's a prism over there and a prism right underneath the antenna. Okay, so from here, I'll just jump straight into T4D web. I'll focus a bit more on web today. It's also not going to be that in-depth, otherwise I will keep you busy for the whole evening. So first of all, this is our start screen or the home screen. So when you open up T4D web, you will get to this screen, and this allows you to see what's going on at a quick glance. So on the left-hand side, I can see my project status. I can see there's 50 sensors in this project. There's a couple of alarms, attentions, and warnings. We'll look at that later. And then also I can see my sensor data flow. So if anything is not working correctly, it will show up in red. And then if everything is okay, it will obviously be green. So I will quickly go to the projects page. So here you can set up different projects for different, let's say you have different areas that you are monitoring. You can set up a different project for each of them. And then to touch on what Christian said with the geotech gateways, to make it easier to connect to it, we have a load sensing gateway connected at the dam, and I've actually connected it in two different ways, where we've got one via the local network, and if I go edit that, you can see it is just an IP address with username and password, and then it lists all the sensors that are connected to that specific gateway. And the other option is to go to connect the gateway to the internet, and then you enter the URL of that gateway and get the data in the same manner. So from here, we'll jump to the sensors page. The sensor page, you can see information about a specific sensor at a time. So over here, I can see the state, the alarm state is actually in alarm or red, which is the worst or the most amount of movement. I can see my position, and I can see the current displacements. And in here as well, you can also add notes on the right-hand side. So let's say this prism moved because of rockfall and it damaged. You can actually put a note in here. So we can just say, create a new note, and we can say, damaged due to rockfall. And you can save that, and anybody that then looks at this prism can see that note up there. You can add images up here as well, so you can take a picture of that specific sensor, upload it on here, and everybody will know what they're looking at. Okay, then we'll go to the map. So as Christian explained, we can use either Bing Maps, or we can use Google Maps, or just the OpenStreetMap. And here you can see this is where the dam wall is. Our total station is situated down here. I'll zoom in just now. And the load sensing gateway sits all the way up here. It's about 5 kilometers away. And that's installed in the upper dam. So Steenbos Dam consists of two different dams, the upper dam and the lower dam. All our prisms are on the lower dam wall, and the load sensing gateway sits at the top of the upper dam wall.
Kobus, sorry to interrupt. I see Melvin has raised his hand. Melvin, do you have a question for Kobus? Maybe he was just waving at you. Carry on, Cobus.
Okay. So here you can see also all the different sensors are the colors of the icons are colored according to the alarm state that prism is in. I have to apologize if there's some background noise here. I think our neighbors are drilling into the wall or something. So just bear with me on that, please. So on the map, I can search for, let's say, for instance, I just want to see my upstream prisms. I can search and I can apply that filter. And now it only displays those prisms that I filtered over here. So only the ones that you see over here. And you can see they're all in green alarm state, so they're all okay, no movement whatsoever. Okay, then the second view that we have, so on the map view, everything is geo-referenced. The next view we can go to is custom views. So in custom view, you can upload any image that you want. So you can take, for instance, like this one, where we've got a side-on image. We've got our cabin where the total station is housed. And then you drag and drop your sensors where they're supposed to go. Like, for instance, I want to now place this downstream free prism. I'll drag it, and let's say it has to be over there. And I let go, and it appears on that map. So this is not geo-referenced, but you can use any image. So it's great, for instance, if you want a side-on image and you have lots of prisms below each other, or lots of sensors below each other, it's a great view to use, a great tool to use to see at a quick glance what's going on. So if I hover over a specific point, I can also see the current displacements. You can set it up to view a small chart in here if you hover over a point, and so on. So then we'll go to charts. So if I want to quickly view chart of a specific sensor, let's say, for instance, I want to see what the dam level is of the upper dam. I can either look for it here on the side on the list, or I can search for it, or I can just choose the sensor type and then select from the list. And we'll so here you can see this is the temperature of the wireless node, the air temperature, and this blue line is the dam level. And for those of you who don't know it, Steenbos Dam is also used for electricity generation for City of Cape Town, and it's a pump water scheme. So during the daytime, the water gravitates down to another dam, and then in the evening they pump it back up again. So you can see the water level actually go down and then rise up and go down and rise up again. Okay, so the charts are only for one specific sensor, so you can view the different information for one sensor at a time. If you want to view more than one at a time, you can go to analysis. So in analysis, we can view either just different sensors together, like all our prisms together. You can see each different colored line is a different prism. There are some spikes in the data, but there's reasons for that. Sorry, my apologies. Or, like, for instance, if we want to view different sensors or different sensor types together, I can see here I've got the two dam levels. The green one is the upper dam level, the blue one is the lower dam level, and the purple is the rainfall that we had. So we can correlate the amount of rainfall we had towards the dam level, the water levels of the dams. And we can also apply regression lines to specific sensors. Like, for instance, here we've fitted a regression line to the water level of the lower dam, and you can actually see it will give you the velocity at which that prism or that sensor is moving. The next item we'll look at is alarms. So here we've got a lot of alarms set up at the moment. We'll look at one specific one. It's for the downstream prisms. Here you can see we told it on what to report. So we want to report on position terrestrial, which is our prisms, specific sensors. So I've only chosen these couple of sensors. It gives me the latest value that was measured to that prism. And then in here, I've got my thresholds set up. And if that exceeds the threshold, it will change the color according to what the threshold is. I can also select notification recipients and choose specific users to send that email alert to when that sensor reaches the alarm threshold. Okay, and you can have various alarms for various sections as well. So if you have, for instance, a lot of times in a mine, you'll find that one area moves faster than another area because of different rock types. You can set up different alarms with different thresholds and different characteristics to alert on all of those items. Then under system status, you can have a quick look at what's going on. So our current sensor data flow, I can see, okay, my GNSS receivers, something is wrong there. And if I go to current sensor data flow, it will then actually tell me which ones, or it will give you the latest observation, and it will tell you if it's green, it means that the sensor data flow for that sensor is as expected. If it's red, it's delayed or non-existent. So for instance, we know that the receiver, there's a problem about that receiver, so it hasn't had any data in about 6 hours. And the prism as well, that prism has not measured for quite a while. Okay, so I can also view my historic sensor data flow, so I can look back, let's say 7 days, and I can see the amount of observations or measurements that I had for each specific sensor on that specific day. And then a nice function that you can use also is reports. So for instance, you don't have to come in every day and look at the system to see what the sensor data flow is or what the charts look like. You can actually get it sent to you at a specific schedule. So I can say add the report schedule, and let's say I want to see my system status once a week. So I can say create this, and we'll just call it, give it a quick name, and I want it sent to me weekly at 8 o'clock on a Monday morning. And then I can say, okay, well, send it. System administrator doesn't want it. I can send it to myself, and I can select as many users as I want to, or I can just choose a specific user group, like an admin or analyst, and then everybody that's in that group will get that alert. And then I can say, okay, what do I want to see? I want the current system overview. I want the current sensor data flow for the last 7 days. And I can click save. So this will now, every Monday morning at 8 o'clock, it will send me a status message, and it will look the same as what the system status looks, where it says, this was the last observation that you received, and everything is good, or there's a problem. Same with the alarms as well. Okay, and if we're going to go to accounts quickly, here you can set up all the different users and the user roles. So let's first look at the user roles. So we obviously have admin, so admin can do everything on the page. Analyst, you can see there's different items. There's some items that an analyst can view, but he cannot, like for instance, the account setting page, he can view it, but he cannot create new users or edit users or delete users, and different items like that. And if we go to use the select users, we can create a new user. And you enter the email address, enter the name, last name. You can set the notification preference via email or SMS, or email and SMS. So we can send SMSs using a third-party SMS service, or you can choose to only have web notifications. And then you choose the role for that specific user. So you can also choose this. A user can have, if you have multiple projects, a user can have a different role in a different project. He can be an admin, for instance, in one project, but only analyst in another project. And once you say register, that user will get an email with a temporary password, which he can then use to log in and then create his own password going forward. Okay. Stefan, I think I'm going to hand over back to you.